Hello and welcome to Racers Now. Now, it is safe to say that the champion hurdle anti-post market will be, and already is, the most talked about and eventful anti-post betting market between now and the Cheltenham Festival in March. And we've already seen plenty of movement in the first few weeks of the national hunt season so far. Lossymouth is your current favourite. Would anyone be surprised if she ran in the Mears hurdle again? I wouldn't. Constitution Hill is your second favourite and might not ever run again, to be honest. Stateman won the champion hurdle in 2024, but was beaten on Irish soil for the first time in 11 starts on his seasonal reappearance. And Sergino was a leading Arkle chase contender at the start of the season and has since won a Grade 1 over the hurdles on the bridle. So where do we even start? Well, we'll start at the top of the market, where Lossymouth is the market leader at 2-1 anti-post favourite. She's just beaten the reigning Stayers hurdle champion, Tiupu, over 2.5 miles on the bridle over in Ireland in early December, on the 1st of December, actually. And how could you not be impressed, really, of what she did there? Lossymouth, like we say, beating Tiupu there on the bridle with ease. Really, really visually impressive. She's already a 2-time Cheltenham Festival winner. Lossymouth has well and truly graduated from the novice and races against her own sex categories into a force to be reckoned with in open company. That is absolutely no doubt about that. She will also get a £7 mares allowance if running in the champion hurdle itself. My only lingering doubt with Lossymouth is the mares hurdle. She won it last year. She won it easy. She'll probably win it again next year if she goes for it, and the year after. And there is absolutely nothing stopping her from running in and winning that race again. There just isn't. It's a Grade 1 for mares. She's a mare and she likes hurdles. It's quite simple. She could run in it again. All the noises from Willie Mullins and her owner, Rich Ritchie, at this stage, to be fair to him, have been that she's going for the champion hurdle. So fair play on face value. They've said that's what her season revolves around, and that's great. But as I said earlier, you wouldn't be massively surprised, would you, if she reverted or between now and March? It looks unlikely at this stage, but between now and March, Rich Ritchie comes across another champion hurdle contender of the male variety and Lossymouth switches to the mares. You could just see it. But to be fair to them, on what they've said so far, and we've got to take their word for what it is at the moment, they've said it is all guns go for the champion hurdle for Lossymouth. Constitution Hill is still available at 9-2, second favourite as we speak. I mean, some might think that's a great price. There's nothing wrong with him in terms of injury, apparently. He's the best hurdler we've seen in years, apparently. When he does indeed go to the track, he is normally breathtaking, unbeaten over hurdles, of course. He could easily be even money on the day, etc., etc. But on the flip side of that, some might say they wouldn't back him at 9-1 or 19-1, never mind 9-2. He's not raced at all in 2024. You know the story with Constitution Hill. He's not raced at all in 2024 yet. May well run, and he's intended to run at Kempton over the Christmas period. He's had swelling on the nerve most recently. That is what has seen him out of the fighting fifth. He didn't run in that. He had colic earlier in the season. He was part of the Nicky Henderson stable where the Cheltenham Festival in March 24 was basically a write-off. He was a victim of that, if you like, as was Sergino. We're going to come on to him. He's had racecourse gallops galore. He'll probably have more. He was pretty rubbish in a racecourse gallop at Kempton before the festival. He was pretty awful in a racecourse gallop at Newbury before the fighting fifth. The saga will, of course, continue when it comes to Constitution Hill. The focus is on him because he appears to be that damn good. He's been fantastic when on the track. Obviously, the 2023 winner of the champion hurdle. But I and others are sick of talking about him, to be honest. But let's take the guessing and opinion out of it for a moment. Nicky Henderson says there is nothing wrong with him now, and they have identified some swelling on a nerve. They're fixing it, and as we speak, it's full steam ahead for Constitution Hill to run at Kempton in the Christmas hurdle, which he won last year at 1-12. Should he win that again and show his well-being and show that he can maybe get back to his best or close to it, he won't be anywhere 9-2 for the champion hurdle on January the 1st, but it's a big if. Will he run? Question mark. Will he return to his best? Anywhere near his best? Question mark. Will he win? Question mark. But, you know, we're back in the realms of speculation. For some time, Stateman has been the best hurdler in Ireland by some distance, but couldn't get anywhere near the UK's leader, Constitution Hill, of course, in 2023, beaten 9 lengths. But I mean, Stateman won the feature Grade 1 on Cheltenham Festival back in March 2024. Constitution Hill was sat at home at the time. Stateman went off odds on for last season's champion hurdle and duly won. He was beaten, though, on his first start of the season in the Morgiana hurdle. I mentioned that at the top of the video. He'd won 11 straight starts in Ireland, most of them at Grade 1 level. And the Morgiana, he's won that twice before. He rocked up this year at 4-9. Was a bit slow over the final hurdle before being outpaced and outbattled and outfitnessed by Brighter Days Ahead. She's a Grade 1 winner in her own right, don't get me wrong, and did have fitness on her side. And, you know, as they was going side by side in the final furlong or so in the Morgiana, she got the better. Willie Mullins, as he tends to do afterwards, said that he was pretty happy with Stateman. He'll come on for the run, and it's all avenues lead to Presby Park in March. Maybe so, but I mean, 4-9. He has won it first time up twice before, and then he was beat first time up in it this year. Yeah, you would have to say you was disappointed, really, but you know, not too downhearted. Disappointed, yes. Catastrophic, no. Let's put it that way. And Brighter Days Ahead won that race, the Morgiana, and there's no secret that that horse will be going for the Mears Hurdle. Mr. O'Leary, who owns those Gigginstown horses, says if you've got a mare that qualifies and can run in the Mears Hurdle, then why not running it? He likes to mop up as many maces at the Cheltenham Festival as possible, as most owners do, and you can't blame them for that. It's just a programme book that allows them to possibly duck and dive. So Brighter Days Ahead is 7-4 for that Mears Hurdle. Incidentally, Lossiemouth is 4-1 for the Mears Hurdle, which looms over the Cheltenham Festival like an awkward shadow that the Jockey Club seem reluctant to amend. Anyway, next up is Sagino in the anti-post markets. He's as low as 5-1, and a real head scratcher, really, in the same ownership as Stateman for a start, which adds something into the mix. He won a juvenile Grade 1 at Aintree earlier this year in April. Missed the Cheltenham Festival where he would have been favourite. I think it was for the Triumph. Basically because the Nicky Henderson yard was wrong at the time. Constitution Hill was part of that. Sagino was part of that. I think John Bond might have been part of that as well. Anyway, at the start of this season, in the stable tours, the talk was that Sagino, very talented over hurdles as a juvenile, would be going juvenile chasing this year, or novice chasing, should I say. Novice chasing this year. That was until he galloped all over Constitution Hill at a very public workout at Newbury, where there was commentators and press and cameras and all sorts. Sagino, galloped all over Constitution Hill. We all know the fallout, what came from there. And as a result, Constitution Hill missed Newcastle the Fighting Fifth, and Sagino filled his space. He was rerouted to the Fighting Fifth hurdle rather than a Kempton novice chase debut in late November. He went to Newcastle instead, and he duly won at Newcastle in the style of a very, very good horse. You just go and watch that back. He won very easily. I mean, the market had it as a two-runner race. It was 6-5 Sagino, 6-5 Mystical Power, both Grade 1 winners as juvenile hurdlers last year. The latter, Mystical Power, was disappointing in 6 in Newcastle. Really quite disappointing. Went out like a light, was never really travelling. Yeah, a bit of a very much a disappointing performance. You'd be hard-pressed to say beating 143 rated lump sum, which Sagino did, and then in third 136 races, Kievar, you'd be hard-pushed to say that that's champion hurdle form. Sagino, visually very impressive, but when you look into the nitty-gritty of the form with those horses and that rating and the disappointment of Mystical Power, you'd be hard-pressed to say that that's champion hurdle form. But it's not Sagino's fault. Mystical Power bombed out pretty badly. Sagino won very easily, virtually on the bridle, and he's actually the same price after the race, after the Fighting Fifth for the champion hurdle, as he was before it. So those looking at the form, maybe not that much impressed, but we've got no way near the bottom of Sagino by the looks of it. Remember, he's still a very young horse. This was his first race in open age Grade 1s, and he's won easy as you like. So, you know, definite champion hurdle contender if he turns up Again, you've got the Stateman issue. You've got he could still go hurt. If he could still go over chasers, they're going to have to make a decision sooner rather than later, because he's going to have to run in some sort of novice chase before the festival. You would have thought. Arkle, champion hurdle. They're both on the same day. We're likely to see Sergino in action on that Tuesday. It's just a question of what race. So we've covered 5 horses so far. One hasn't been seen for a year. One is the reigning champion and will be running, but was slightly disappointing last time out. One might be running over fences between now and March, and one definitely won't turn up. And the other one's Lossy Mouth, and we've gave comments to her as well. So a very murky anti-post picture. And as we always say on this channel, anti-post betting is all about trying to identify the horse that is most likely to run. It's all factored into the price somewhat, but another thing worth mentioning at this stage is that there is only 28 entries. We're 3 months away from the race. There's only 28 entries in the champion hurdle, and they've struggled to get double figures in the final field in recent years. Again, an ongoing theme in UK, particularly UK racing and particularly jumps racing in the UK. Field sizes. Is there enough horses to fill these fields? Anything from the Hennessy that we had way below the max field to a champion hurdle that's only got 28 entries 3 months away. Pretty concerning stuff, if you ask me. There's a couple to call out at bigger prices. Sandown was a horse I'd never heard of in October this year, yet he's burst onto the scene at Fairy House on the 1st of December, over the first weekend in December. One of those famous French imports into the Willie Mullins yard, winning a Grade 3 with ease on his debut for the Willie Mullins stable, and now finds himself as a 40-1 shot for the champion hurdle. We've got no idea where he might go next. We've got no idea how good he might be, but to win on stable debut in a Grade 3, pretty impressive, and there is plenty of options open to him. He's firmly in the could be anything category, is this Sandown. And even Willie Mullins described him as, I quote, something special. That's always one that's going to get the clickbaiters going when Willie Mullins is describing debutants as something special. Worth noting, another one, this Sandown, that is in the same ownership as Stateman and Sergino, but definitely one to keep an eye on for sure, wherever he goes next. And I would pretty much guarantee that whichever race he does run in at the Cheltenham Festival, and there's a few options, he will not be 40-1. It's just a case of identifying which race he might run in, and we might not know that until the second weekend March, never mind in early December. The one I thought also deserved a shout out at a big price at the moment is Burdett Road. Clearly very good on the flat. This horse won a listed race at Newmarket as recently as September 2024. Then he's won the Great Wood Hurdle in good fashion at Cheltenham. Change of tactics that day from the front, and the type of the connections really, trainer and owners, that will maybe roll the dice in a big one. He's currently 40-1 for the champion hurdle. I can see him running in that. He's going to be way too high in the weights for a Cheltenham handicap, you'd have thought. And like I say, I think they may roll the dice. He's already got winning form as a novice hurdler at Cheltenham in October 23, put in his place by Sergino thereafter in their next respective race, which I think was in November, possibly January. And then, Sergino didn't run at the festival, but Burdett Road, he's met before, but really quite impressive in that Great Wood Hurdle. As I say, from the front, very talented on the flat, very speedy, of course. Might be an interesting contender. He's a big price. He's 40-1. He's going to have to improve between now and March, that is for sure. So it's what we said at the start, really. There's all sorts of water to pass under the champion hurdle bridge between now and March. Let us know in the comments who you fancy at this stage. And as usual, here on Racers Now, we will be previewing all the big Grade 1 and Group 1 anti-post races. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back soon.